Yeah,
There
yeah,
is?
Hmm.
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I might show up for a little bit just to hear you, and I'd like to hear the results of the study we did. So,
Yeah. So tomorrow's quarterly meeting, for those who aren't familiar, the quarterly meeting happens quarterly, where we bring together all the sectors, both the Kansas City Physical Activity Plan and the KCHLC. Um, and we try to encourage as many people to come in person to the Kauffman Foundation Center as possible. Um, but there's also a virtual option in case you can't make it, like you're in Florida. Um, and it'll be a great networking opportunity just to catch up with other people who are doing healthy lifestyles work in Kansas City. Unfortunately, I'm going to be the main speaker. So I'm going to talk about some work that we have been working on for, gosh, Natalie, was it a year and a half? Probably,
Almost two,
maybe,
I think.
yeah, almost 2 years, 2 years of work with UMKC to do an asset mapping of youth physical activity programs in the Kansas City region. So we counted, we ended up in the current database 3,319 programs across 584 organizations, I believe. So I'll share all the information from that, what types of services they're providing, where they're located at, where there might be gaps. We're looking at it from a systems perspective as well. So like, are they all providing youth sports programming, or are there people doing other things like doing data surveillance, offering scholarships, stuff like that. So we'll share all that stuff tomorrow. Um, and it's very much still a draft report. So we'd love to get people's feedback after we present the data to see what they think about it. So please join us 9 a.m. Breakfast is at 9 a.m. I'll probably start around 9:15 or 9:30. And then there'll be other networking time as well. So
Natalie, will you send me a link to sign in tomorrow morning?
Sure.
Thank you.
well, I gave some time for Pete to finish eating his breakfast or something. But, you want to
Sorry,
just
I was
give
on the phone there.
Oh, no problem.
I can share the agenda for today's meeting. Well, we've got some new phases on the group. So first, I think we'll start with introductions and just if you guys have some organizational updates that you want to share about your work, then we're going to have a presentation from the Wishing organization, and then a few sports sector recaps from previous meetings, as well as some school updates. Robin already shared our KCHLC update about the upcoming meeting on Thursday. And then each of those sectors' upcoming meetings. For those of you that don't know me, I guess I'll go first. My name is Natalie Updike. I work for the Kansas City Healthy Lifestyles Collaborative at Children's Mercy, and I support the school sector for this portion of the meeting. And I'll have Kelly introduce herself.
Hey everyone. So for those of you who don't know me as well, I have a similar role as Natalie. I work for the Kansas City Healthy Lifestyles Collaborative at Children's Mercy, and I support the school sector. Robin, you want to go, even though you did just talk?
Yeah, I don't think I introduced myself though. So I'm Robin Shook at Children's Mercy. I work with Kelly and Natalie on the Kansas City HLC. And I'm going to call on Lene.
Hi, my name is Lene Bridewell. I am the sector leader for schools, and I also work on on a nonprofit that is merging with another nonprofit called Athvantage, which is merging with a nonprofit called Sharewaves. That's just focused on creating equity in youth sports.
You got to call on someone. You got
Oh, yeah, I do. Okay, Margaret.
Hi, I'm Margaret Babbitt. I'm one of the Olathe School District nurses, and I'm just here to learn. Thank you.
I'll jump in. I'm Pete
Oh,
Piscatello.
okay.
I am the one of the co-leads for the sports sector, along with Bill, who I'm going to call on next year. And I also work for a national nonprofit, Play Like a Champion Today. We do coach, parent, athlete training for youth and high school sports, as well as some collective impact work in the inner cities, low income areas, and try to give kids opportunities to play sports. Do some stuff with PE in schools and stuff like that. So, Bill?
Good morning, good afternoon now. I'm in Florida, so I'm totally messed up with the time schedule, but excited to have you guys join us today and excited to partner with the sports sector to co-host a nonprofit organization that we're all very interested in learning more about. My name is Bill Brandmeier, and I'm the executive director of an organization called Sharewaves. And for 6 years, we've been trying to figure out how to advance opportunities for kids to play sports because sports are good for kids. And recently made the decision to merge with Lene and her organization because we both share the same passion and same energy. The March is an important month for Sharewaves. We celebrate March Gladness before the madness. We want to celebrate what's great about kids enjoying sports and enjoying physical activity and outdoor activities. And as spring kind of comes upon us, we see the kids move outside and how great that is for them. On Saturday, we have an event called the March Gladness 3-on-3 basketball tournament. We'll have about 250 kids come to home field. Playing in a 3-on-3 tournament, all different ages, hosted by Sharewaves and 810 WHB Sports Radio and Home Field. And then on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we have a March Gladness soccer celebration camp that will be at Shawnee Mission North, hosted by my good friend Mirko Trapoletti and a former MSL superstar, Roger Espinoza. And we'll have about 25 kids coming to that. About 10 of them will be kids that we scholarship into the clinic, and about 15 or maybe 17 of them have paid to be a part of the 3-day clinic. So excited about that, and excited about March Gladness. We did a radio show last Wednesday night that I'll have podcast copies of for everyone to listen to. We went 3 hours live on the radio on 810 WHB, their super station that's the largest sports talk radio station in the Midwest. And they allow us to talk about the city. We spent a lot of time talking about the different research studies that we've done and what other organizations are doing to help kids. And it was a really great 3 hours of what we call Before the Madness. And so that was produced and put together. So that's the Sharewaves update. And I'll ask Kristen to introduce herself, because I know her. And I like her.
Yes. Good to see you. My name is Kristen Gernon. I am a licensed clinical social worker working at Blue Cross and Blue Shield. I've been fortunate to partner on some of our sports-focused youth mental health programming at Blue Cross and Blue Shield. We had a meeting earlier with Dr. Shook, and I'm just really inspired by what all of you are doing. He shared this link with me, and I had an opening in my schedule, and I'm very glad to be here and learn more.
Well, that was a Kristen I didn't know, but Kristen Nett I also know, and I'm glad that we have two Kristens here.
I'm sorry, I didn't even realize there was another Kristen.
No, I think it's so fantastic that you're here, and thank you so much. And we love what Blue Cross and Blue Shield has done for bringing attention to the problems that kids face when their parents are over involved in their athletic journey. And we all supported the movie that you guys produced with the Kansas City Royals. And it's great to have someone from your team on this, because the more corporate support we can get for the Kansas City Physical Activity Plan, and specifically the sports sector, the better. So thank you so much for joining us. All right, Kristen Nett.
Yeah, thank you so much. Nice to see you again, Bill. My name is Kristen Nett. I previously lived in the Kansas City area. I worked for the Kansas City Royals and then Special Olympics Kansas. I currently now work for Nebraska Athletics in Lincoln, Nebraska, and I am the founder of Wishing, which I will be presenting about soon. And I'm gonna call on Autumn.
There might be the only one left. Hi everyone, my name is Autumn. I work for UMKC Campus Recreation, and I oversee all of the events and facility operations for Durwood and Sweeney Center. So really from a facilities support aspect, looking at youth sports. I'm also a graduate student in the Block School of Management.
I think we have one more person that hopped on. Abby, do you mind introducing yourself?
Yes, so my name is Abby Hunt. I live in the Kansas City area. I work at the Platte County Health Department. I am a health educator. I do a lot of work with elementary, just K through 12 aged kids about health and wellness, about working out, being healthy, eating healthy foods, the whole shebang. So getting our young ones out and active.
I think that's everyone. So I guess we'll turn it back over to Kristen. You can share your screen if you do have any slides that you want to share with us.
Awesome. Well, thanks everyone. Hopefully everyone can see that. I wanted to thank you guys so much for allowing me to speak today. Anytime I can share my nonprofit in any capacity is just a win for me. So really appreciate you and giving me your time. So I know, just hearing a little bit about this, a lot of you work in the physical and health capacity of getting kids involved in sports. But I think also mental capacity and mental health is a great way to kind of coincide with what you all are doing. We are a mentorship program and allow girls in high school to have strong female mentors and role models who work in the sports industry. So goes hand in hand with what you're doing, not physical health, but I think the mental health side, this fits in really well. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So we have an executive leadership team of about of 3 people. It is me, who's the founder and the director of our recruitment. Then we have Emma, who works for USA Luge, who's our director of programming. And then we have Cam, and he is the director of our events that we hold. We also have 5 other members of our team under us who help with other day-to-day capacities of our nonprofit. So about us, we were founded about 2.5 years ago now in December 2022. And I've always been really passionate about providing equal opportunities for everyone, regardless of, socioeconomic status, resources, race, ethnicity, anything like that. So I always wanted to help provide equal opportunities for people, but I also was super passionate about helping girls get involved in the sports industry because it was really hard for me to get connected when I found out I wanted to work in sports. So I just wanted to create a network of women working in sports who wanted to give back. So we were founded in December 2022 and became an official nonprofit in March of 2023. So why is Wishing important? Why is it important to help girls learn about careers in the sports industry and give them, powerful female role models? So I'm sure many of you know this, but I'll just quickly go over it. So women hold just 20% of sports media jobs, 10% of sports editor roles, and 12% of professional sports executive roles. And even further beyond that, only 3% of professional sports teams are owned or co-owned by women. As many of you know, female athletes make less than their male counterparts, and only 20% of sports sponsorships support women. So women organizations in athletics, women athletics, etc. So we exist to help give more inclusive policies, programs, and support systems for women working in the sports industry. So our mission is to level the playing field for all women. We have 3 pillars. Our first is mentorship, and I will expand a little bit upon that. Each high school girl who is enrolled in our mentorship program gets matched with a woman who works in the sports industry. Our second pillar is career exploration. So we like to not just talk about what it's like to work in sports, but also give students hands-on opportunities. And then lastly, our third pillar is scholarships. So if there's a high school student who goes through our program that wants to go on to higher education, we want to help them afford that. So just a couple of values. Like I said, we value every girl, regardless of any background, race, gender orientation, socioeconomic status, etc. We value high quality educational sessions in our mentorship program. And we know that not every girl who goes through our program is going to say, yes, I want to work in the sports industry. So we provide educational sessions that can be applied to any job, any real world experience as well. Like I said, the main reason we were founded is just equal opportunities for everyone, especially those high schools who don't have the resources or funding. We are completely free. We are free for schools and free for all students who participate. And then we also want to give back to our mentors and provide a network of the best women working in sports who are passionate and philanthropic. Here's a little bit of highlights. We had our first year of programming started in September 2023. So that was our first year of programming. We obviously have a board of directors who work all around the country since we are nationwide. Just in our first year, we served 27 high school girls. This year, we almost doubled that. We're serving 45. And then we also hold women in sports events with different sports teams around the country. And then lastly, in our first year, we were really fortunate to be able to give 4 $1,000 scholarships to 4 of our senior girls who went through our mentorship program. And that was a little snapshot of where our students and mentors were located, but that has obviously expanded in our second year. So just expanding deeper into our mentorship program, this year we have 35 students in our virtual program and then 10 students in our in-person pilot programs. So like I said, our first year was all virtual. Our second year, we launched 2 in-person programs, one in Madison, Wisconsin, kind of the area where I'm from, and then one in Summit, New Jersey. So what students and mentors can expect from our sessions, it's 1 hour per month, so very doable because we know students are busy and we know women working in sports are very busy. So it's 1 hour per month. Our virtual is over Zoom, and then our in-person, the mentors actually come into the classroom and into the schools. So that's been really great. And what people can expect is a guest speaker to talk about that specific topic that month, and then activities, guided activities that the mentors and mentees can go through together. And then lastly, we also opened a mentor and training program this year. So we also serve 10 college women who want to pursue a career in sports. This is just an overview of some of the things we discuss. So for example, if we're talking about December resumes and cover letter, we'll have a woman who works in HR and sports be our speaker for that month and talk about, how girls in high school how they should tailor their resumes and cover letter to certain careers in sports, etc. So this is what we have been talking about this year. And then we also have developed a workbook. It's about 50 pages that go along with each session and have guided activities for our mentors and mentees to work on together. So here's a snapshot of our mentorship program in Madison. It's held at Madison East High School. We have 5 students there, and then we have about 7 mentors, women working in sports in the Madison and Milwaukee area who come in once a month. And then this is our program in Summit, New Jersey. So we have 5 students, and then some mentors from the Jets and MetLife Stadium. Here is just what we've been doing in action. You know, we're trying to get girls into careers in the sports industry. So here's an alumni spotlight. One of our mentees from last year, who also was a scholarship recipient, worked at the Super Bowl this year, and she credits Wishing for giving her the skills and confidence to network for this opportunity. She is actually a freshman at Queen's University in Charlotte, North Carolina. And then lastly, sorry, I'm trying to wrap up here. Lastly, I just wanted to share some student testimonials. I feel like I got more confidence and learned so many life skills through Wishing. And my favorite part about being a Wishing student is that I got to meet so many women that work in sports. I find it cool to talk to someone that works for an NBA team, a well-known college, and more. So this is our website, our email, and then we're also on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. So definitely feel free to connect with us. I monitor our email info@wishingmentors.com daily. But yeah, kind of some next steps would be our applications for high school girls and our mentors open on May 1st. We have a newsletter that goes out monthly that gives information if anyone would like to be added to our email list. We also were set to open an in-person location in the Kansas City area, but unfortunately I got a new job with Nebraska Athletics last year and had to move, but that was going to be held at the Youth Resiliency Center in Kansas City monthly. So we do have a lot of traction in the Kansas City area. We also have a lot of mentors in the Kansas City area, one from the Chiefs, one from Girls on the Run, one from USTA. So would love to just expand further in the area. Yeah, if anyone has any specific questions, happy to answer.
Sure. What ended up happening with the planning and the programming that you were doing in Kansas City?
We just turned it to our virtual program since I wasn't there to help kind of lead the programming, but we're hoping if we are able to get a lot of students in the Kansas City area that we can work with the Youth Resiliency Center and open that as an in-person location again. I have some contacts with the Shawnee Mission School District. We've been trying to push our program there, also in KC, Kansas City, Kansas Public Schools as well. That's how I got connected with this group through that contact there.
I would love to talk to you about how we can support that.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I will put my the website and email address in the chat again.
Okay.
But I think, yeah, I know, again, a lot of you are passionate about physical health, which is super awesome. Unfortunately, that's not really what we're focused on with Wishing. But, you know, not every student who's an athlete in high school and loves their sport is going to be able to go on to college to play. So we like to show that there's, you know, more opportunities. There's opportunities to work in sports, even if you can't be an athlete. So I think there's a lot of things that go hand in hand with this group and with Wishing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the mental side of what we're trying to do with physical activity is all it's mind, body, spirit. It's a holistic model that touches all levels of a child's development in their process. And the sports sector but specifically believes that physical activity is the key to developing a healthy child. So these kinds of touch points and putting mentors in these kids' lives that show them a pathway into a life that could be, transformative is huge.
For sure.
Kristen, this is awesome. I'm blown away by what you've accomplished in a short amount of time. How can we help you? What are your needs? What do you need help with?
Yeah, I think a lot of you work in, I think when people think of like people working in sports, they think of specific sports teams. However, there's tons of different entities that aren't sports teams that we take mentors from. So for example, like Special Olympics Kansas, that's not specifically a sports team, professional or college, but that's still sports experience. We have mentors from sports marketing agencies, from like Dick's Sporting Goods. So like we try to be well-rounded. So if you know of anyone who would be interested in this opportunity to mentor, or if you know any high schools or high school girls who would love this opportunity, that's what we're looking for. And like I said, we have some mentors already in the Kansas City area. So I think there's a lot of opportunity to open an in-person location and be able to give those in-person opportunities.
And if the opportunity arose, would you work with boys too?
I know we get that question a lot. I would be happy to connect them with, just my network of men who work in the sports industry. But right now our program is focused on high school and college girls. Yeah.
And I understand why. I've recently had some really great interaction with the director of athletics for the Boys and Girls Clubs here in Kansas City about putting in place a program that would reach all their kids that they interact with. And it's a large number of kids, and they want a career pathway development, model. They want to use very similar to the model that you've created for the girls. So I'm just interested. I'd love to sit down more and talk to you more about the possibility of piloting something through the Boys and Girls.
Yeah.
I will add that I am a sports photographer with Sporting Kansas City. I work at one of their smaller complexes, so not the main Sporting KC, but the littles. So I definitely have some contacts within Sporting, and I'm sure that they would love to work with you.
Awesome.
Well, in terms of connecting you with Kansas City, you and I just need to talk, because
for sure,
the KC Current and the Kansas City Royals and the Kansas City Chiefs, I have relationships. I mean, obviously you do too with those organizations, but I can see Angie Long getting very excited about this opportunity, in all the work that her and Chris do here in town to uplift women in sports. I think there's a really powerful opportunity there. And even within the Kansas City Monarchs, there's opportunities at semi-pro baseball. My brother owns the Monarchs, which I'm not name dropping, but there's just a huge opportunity there. So
yeah.
The Kansas City Negro Leagues Baseball Museum has Kiana Sinks that works there. I'm sure she would lend her time and talent to interacting. She has a huge heart. Angel McGee works for Pro Athlete, which is a awesome company here in town. So there's a lot of that happening, and anything we can do to connect you and uplift this whole program here in Kansas City, we'd be excited about.
Awesome. Well, thanks again so much. Like I said, would love to connect to people. That's our email address. And again, I check it daily. So yeah, hopefully we can get some traction going. So thanks so much.
Hey, Kristen, I have, Natalie, did you also have a question?
I do.
Okay. I just had a quick question for any of our people who work directly with young girls. Where do they find that application? What's that application like for at least the virtual mentorship for now, if we, until we can get something started in person in KC, but what does that look like, and where can we find it?
Yeah, it opens on May 1st. It's a Google form application, so kind of asks what the student is interested in as well, so we can try to match them with a mentor who works in that specific industry. We also are going to ask them to send in a letter of recommendation this year, and just a short 1-minute video that they can upload on the form about why they want to be involved. Because again, this is a free program, and we want to make sure that people aren't, abusing it or, not showing up. So yeah, I can make sure to send out the application when it becomes available. Otherwise, it'll come out on our website as well that I dropped. Yeah.
That'll be great. Thank you.
Maybe I missed this because I was taking notes, but when you said that that program in person didn't start here because you weren't able to be in person, are you also looking for someone to take on that like coordinating role here to make that possible where it's allowed to be in person?
Yeah, that would be awesome. I mean, like I said, we have mentors in the Kansas City area. We hadn't it was our first year of opening in-person location, so I just felt more comfortable if it was me being there. And now that we've seen, had Madison and Summit, New Jersey, and we've seen the success there, I think that would be really great to open something at YRC. And yeah, again, it's a very low time commitment for people, but a very high impact. That's what we've seen. Like I said, 9 hours per year, 1 hour per month. So awesome.
Okay, thank you, Kristen.
Thanks so much. Looking forward to connecting with everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Kristen, you're welcome to stick around for the rest of this meeting, but it's just going to be sector specific things, and I think should go pretty quick. Kelly, do you want to do schools first or sports sector?
I don't think it matters either one.
Okay, I guess we'll start with schools. I have on here that Pete is going to give us a recap from our last coffee meetup within the sports sector. For those of you that aren't familiar, we as a sector decided that it was going to be beneficial to the group if we got connected in person more often. So we started these kind of informal once a month coffee meetups. They've been at the end of the month. People can stop by for what time they have available. And then we usually have a topic of conversation related around what next steps the group wants to take.
I'll bring in Lene as well, since she hosted the last one. We met over at Ruby Jeans, and I guess I would say, broadly speaking, primarily talked about with David Renz from the block school, UMKC, but the Children's Mercy. We'll probably mess up, but isn't it physical activity study? Is that generally what I can? So I know they've started doing interviews, and so we talked a lot about that sort of thing there. In fact, he just pinged me to do an interview with him. So I know they're working in that direction, but largely had conversation around that. We had a really good group sitting around there. So Lene, if you want to chime in and give your thoughts on it, since you were kind of the official host.
Sure. We had about, I would say like 8 or 9 people in attendance. And it was loud. So be mindful when you choose a location of the volume of the environment. I had not thought about that. And I was like, oh crap. So lots of yelling. Other than that, it was new faces, people I hadn't met yet for the most part. And so that was really encouraging. People were really engaged. Made some great connections, and generally speaking, I'm so interested in the research that they're doing, and so being able to stay close to that, I think it's going to really inform the year ahead of us. And I actually want to get in contact with them because I'd like them to come and present at our board meeting to just talk about their preliminary findings and see how we can inform and support.
They're going to be at the quarterly meeting tomorrow.
Oh, great. Awesome. Yeah.
The other update that we had listed, Lene, if you don't mind, kind of giving an update on where we are at, what we did last month at the school sector, and then I will share the survey with this group as well. So.
Wonderful. So the first meeting that I was officially the sector leader, we did a mural board and kind of a brainstorming session on what type of actionable things we could try to execute against this year. We had some great ideas. We turned all of those ideas into a survey that people can vote on what they think we should go and actually try to do. We sent that out Yes, thank you so much. We sent that out to our listserv, but generally speaking, there were some things that I think are super important that I'll just kind of highlight the kinds of things we talked about. Is like an advocacy kit where we brainstorm and put together materials for people who want to go talk to, whether they want to go to senators or they want to go to their council members, but just arming them with concise information that's specific to our area, so that when they're talking to these constituents, that they are informed and it's in a format that makes sense and is digestible and is valuable to them. I'm really excited about that. I hope that's what people vote for, but we are going to defer to the vote of the people. So we had some other cool ideas. We're also working on an implementation grant. So we had the, oh my gosh, what was we just
State of play.
Yes, the state of play was just published, and one of the gaps in information was that a lot of the schools within the urban core and that work in low-income communities did not respond to that. And I think that I would like to go out and capture the voices, at least of the people who work in the building. And so we're putting together a grant application to go and do focus groups with the professionals who work in physical activity, sports, and health within those buildings. Hopefully we're targeting teacher work days, which there's only 2 months left. Hopefully they don't all do them on the same week. That's what I'm banking on. But I was able to connect with a nonprofit that liaisons between nonprofits in Kansas City and the school district. And she was very confident that she could help us execute this efficiently without having to go through like a lot of red tape or go through like the administration. She has relationships directly within the schools that can bypass a lot of those processes, especially since it's not dealing with kids. We'll be strictly interviewing adults. And so I'm really excited about how we can use that relationship to get this done efficiently and quickly. And that's what we're working on right now. And Kelly just shared the link. Please, please, please take the survey. We need as many responses as possible. Otherwise, we're going to defer to my judgment and we will be putting together that advocacy toolkit. But that's it.
This is Jay Robertson. If you want to talk with any of the athletic trainers, I know all of them who work in most of the urban core schools, so they're part of our team. So
great.
I don't know if you were looking more for teachers and students, but I at least got the athletic trainers. So.
Anybody in a school who deals with physical activity.
Yeah, I think Christine Sharonsberg would be good too. She used to be your lead, and talk about hitting the ground running, Lene. You continue to just amaze me at how much energy and passion you have for this and how smart you are. So awesome work. Yeah.
Nice.
Jason,
yes,
Jay's joined us. So is Jason Holzer, everyone. Jason's kind of lurking here. I don't know how much you heard about Wishing, but we did record it if you want to listen to Kristen's awesome presentation.
Yeah, thanks. I was just getting out of PE class. That's why I'm a little bit late. So forgive me.
Yeah, no doubt. That's awesome. Anything else from school sector?
Not at the moment.
Okay. We will have another coffee this month. Probably the last week of March is kind of the target. We haven't decided on a date, and I'm tentatively thinking to doing it at Mildred's at 19th in Baltimore, I think. So, but I'm talking to Natalie about that, and we'll just let everybody know that we're going to do another one. I think we should consistently do these every month. I hope people are finding value in them. Certainly having 8 to 9 people show up is a great turnout, and having David Rentz there, I didn't know that he was able to make it, but Jason has asked if we do it on Thursday because Wednesday's a hard morning for him. So just make a note. Is that right, Jason?
I mean, yeah, if that works for everybody else, I kind of felt like we did the first one on Thursday. So I was just thinking if you could have a consistent day the last Consistency of the month. It kind of helps people plan as well too. So
Maybe the
uh,
last Thursday of every month we do it. So I don't know if that works, but
I think the really promising thing with that as well was that we had a pretty much an entirely different group between the first and the second one, which is great. I
yeah,
mean, I would like to have everybody there together every time, but you know, if we've had, I don't know, 15 different people or
Mhm.
12 to 15 different people between 2 months, that's good momentum. So I was happy about that.
that's great. All right. The sports sector would probably, we can wait a month to talk about bringing Aspen back to Kansas City, but that's, you know, something that I'm very curious about. And I want to make sure we keep that conversation going because I think there's a huge opportunity, and I think there's some opportunities with, you know, getting corporate support for that too. If we can get people like Kristen to come on and hear what we're doing and understand it and see the state of play report and understand it, and then knowing that Lene wants to dig deeper into some of the areas that were unrepresented in the report, which is one of the things that I think we all thought when we were doing the report that we kind of, you know, a missed opportunity. Then having them come back in September, kind of the year anniversary of the release of the report, and making a big deal about them coming back would be really important. So,
And I can just give a quick update there. They, if you saw, I think this morning, there was a new Aspen community report released today.
yeah, Washington, D.C.
Washington, D.C. Yeah. So they've been busy with that and the conference, which is in 2 weeks. So they haven't sent me Aspen hasn't sent me a formal proposal. So I don't have any more information than that, but we are going to touch base at the conference.
Is anyone going to the conference? Oh, good.
Wait, is that the one that's next? It's in like 2 weeks at Kaufman?
No.
Oh, no, I'm not going to that.
This one's in Oakland. It's a little further
Oh,
away.
okay,
than
no,
Kaufman.
no, never mind.
Yeah, it's in Oakland. Berkeley. Yeah. We went 2 years ago to Colorado Springs last year. Natalie, did you end up going to Baltimore last year?
No.
No, we missed it last year.
Mm.
And Pete, did you go last year to Baltimore?
Yeah, I was in Baltimore. Yeah.
Yeah, Pete's gone every year. He's kind of a deal. I loved it, and it was incredible. I don't think I can make it this year. They're sold out right now, but it's a really powerful gathering of like-minded national people that feel the same way we do, and the energy is really good, and the speakers this year look really good. So you can listen online. There's opportunities to catch some of the deals. But you're going to go this year, Robin?
Yeah. So what Pete and Natalie will all grab Jennifer and John at that conference, and we can, you know, kind of brainstorm some ideas and bring it back to the group.
Okay.
Right now, we're thinking of, and we mentioned this last month, kind of a fall meeting or summit, whatever you want to call it, that's specifically focused on how we can use grassroots momentum to build a case for the strategies and recommendations from the Aspen Institute and the KCPA plan, how to activate those in our region. So
yeah, wonderful, exciting.
Okay.
Okay,
I don't know if I know you just put it in the chat, Natalie, but I looked over the executive summary of the DC report this morning, and you know, there's definitely some similarities in some of the things. DC is a very different place than Kansas City in a lot of different ways, but there's definitely some similarities in what they're recommending there, and what they kind of put in the Kansas City report. So it's kind of interesting to see the differences and similarities.
I've compared almost every single community, and they all basically say very similar. The analysis of the data is strikingly similar.
Yeah.
So
yeah, yeah, that's exactly right. You know, and they told us that before they started with us. They said, I bet you we're going to see this, and sure enough, they did. So
yeah.
Kids are kids, and the system is the system.
Right.
There are just tweaks. I will just point out, and I'll put it in the chat here once I find it. A week or two ago, they released their costs of youth sports participation report. So I'll put that in the chat. They did it. They did a webinar on it too. I don't know if the recording's available, but if I see it, I'll plop it in there.
Please.
But costs are just growing and growing and growing.
Mhm.
Yes,
So
for sure. Well, that's basically sports sector. If anybody wants to come out to home field on Saturday and witness March Gladness, it's going to be a great day. We're starting basketball play at 10:15. We'll have an introduction of everything that's going on and some of the special guests that'll be there. And then we'll have a little halftime program at around 12:30, I think, is when we're going to do a little half an hour kind of halftime, lunchtime type of engagement. And then basketball play until 4. So should be a great day. And it's our first time we've ever done anything like it. So we're just going to see what happens. And it's not highly competitive. It's a tournament to have fun. So the energy should be good. And everyone is welcome to come and check it out.
I meant to ask, how did that sports sampling thing that you guys did for, what was it? Like a parent drop-off type of activity?
Yeah, that failed to get enough registrations. We're finding it really hard to drive people to these kinds of small events without some sort of anchor or some sort of trust element that we can get kind of. We need to develop a lot of trust with the community that you'd think would be inherent in offering something like that, but it's not. And if you're attached to a church or to a school, then it's a natural trust factor. So whenever Jason's done anything like that with St. Therese, because he's the athletic director and the head of phys ed at St. Therese, everybody trusts him. He sends it out, and the parents are like, "Yeah, I'm going to bring my kid to that. That's Jason. We love him." But to try to do something in Overland Park with Luke Wade has been we've tried twice and we've both times failed to get any registrations. So
Well, and Natalie, it's, what we also found is that sometimes weekends are hard. People have a lot of things scheduled and that kind of stuff as well. So we're pivoting to doing like more all sports camps in the summertime because during the summertime, parents need things for the kids to do during the daytime while they're working, right? Or while they're getting things done too. So we are doing 5 all sport camps. One of them's going to be at Hy-Vee Arena and then a couple other areas like around the city too. So our plan is to do that this summer and see if that has a little more, traction as well to build, some more credibility and get more kids active too. So, yeah.
That's cool that you guys keep trying to adapt it to make it meet the needs.
We did one last year and we had about 30 kids sign up and we marketed it like way late. And a lot of the kids liked it. It was 3 days, 4 hours a day. So they were half-day camps too. And 80% of it was like sports, different variety of sports. But then we got into, some mental health, some strategies, emotional regulation, some other things with it, agility and athleticism too. So we try to make it, not just one specific sport, but just kind of like keep it fresh, keep it variety, and keep it educational as well too. So, yeah.
All right.
Bill, isn't there like a sport coalition equity meeting tomorrow too?
There is it'll be, I'll probably just leave the meeting after Robin speaks and go to the coalition meeting. So I'm a member of a national coalition group that's headed up out of with a nonprofit out of Seattle. That's I always blank on their name, but it's a social justice, sports equity nonprofit, and it's kind of tied to Kings County a little bit. Kings County has a play equity coalition. There's representatives from different play equity coalitions from across the country. LA 84 has Play Equity Fund out of LA. They are involved. And then Philadelphia has representatives, and then smaller cities across the country. Chicago's represented. Laureus, which is a international sports for kids organization, kind of the granddaddy of them all. They are involved. Peter's had some interactions with Laureus in Chicago that has been really successful with Play Like a Champion. So it's a really neat group. I don't know where I fit yet. Obviously the Kansas City Play Equity Coalition idea, lost a little steam with not being selected by the Kauffman Foundation. But it's still part of our discussions about how we're doing what we're trying to do. And like when Lene and I get together and start talking about the future of Sharewaves, the future of Advantage, we always seem to direct our attention towards why don't we do play equity? I mean, that's what we should be doing. So more to come there, but I continue to just sit and listen with these people that have been doing it for longer than we have. And I learn something new almost every time we sit and talk, and their interactions are really good. And Natalie came last week or last month and enjoyed it. And she's probably going to miss tomorrow because of the quarterly meeting, but I'll keep you posted on that stuff.
Yeah, I will say that was very interesting, like especially the people from California, they talked a lot at the last meeting.
Yeah.
And they're making like state level policy changes, like by linking up their coalition groups in different cities in California. So it was just like inspiring to see the momentum.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. And from the very beginning, as Robin keeps reminding me, Kansas City Physical Activity Plan has had a strategy in place of forming a coalition. And so the idea that we're forming a coalition wasn't lost on this group before even the Aspen Institute came to Kansas City and recommended it. It's been part of our strategy from the get-go. And it's hard, but it's also been done before. So there's pathways to learn from.
Okay. I think that is all we have on the agenda, unless anyone has any other events or trainings or organizational things that they want to share with the group or want us to share in our newsletters or social media networks.
Natalie, we do have a monthly coaches newsletter for people too that goes out about like, positive interactions, that kind of stuff too. So I know I mentioned in the past, but like this one is about, it's come out next week, about preparation and doing the work, create luck. So just kind of things that coaches can do to build better, safer, more supportive environments as well in youth sports. So to keep kids wanting to play as well.
Do you have that sign up, or how do we sign up for that?
Yeah, it's I can put the
I'll put it in the chat, and
sure,
we can include it in the Natalie can include it in the notes that come out later.
Yeah, I can do that.
And I will say Jason and Jim hosted the second hour of Before the Madness radio show. And they brought on two awesome guests, a former Major League pitcher who is working with kids and is still kind of on the verge of getting back to the major leagues. Trevor Rosenthal, he's an all-star and won a World Series. He was awesome. And then they also brought in two local baseball coaches from Olathe and the Kansas City Royals, part of the RAD program. And they were both just awesome. And they talked about how failure in baseball is part of it, but how, failing is part of, learning. They were so good. And we could have talked to them for a whole hour, just the two of them, but it was really great. So the radio show ended up being really, really good. Had Mitch Loney from Freedom Hoops on, and he was really good. So it was really good.
Is the link to that recording on your YouTube channel, Bill?
Not yet.
Okay.
It will be. I'm trying to not be on vacation and be on vacation at the same time. It's kind of hard, but.
Did you get it recorded, Bill? You got to record it?
I have the recordings, yes.
Awesome. Cool.
Send
it over to me and I'll upload it to our stuff too. So
yeah, I need to figure out how to put graphics on it, and so I'm trying to make it look cool, but maybe I just release it. I don't know. Can't get it all done. All right.
There's a life lesson there, right?
Yep.
And then I guess the next thing is just the next meetings. Our sports sector meeting will be April 9th, Wednesday, and the school sector will be Thursday, April 10th at 1 p.m.
Quarterly meeting tomorrow.
Yes, quarterly meeting tomorrow.
That is
Yeah.
not on my calendar. I don't have the invitation for that.
Yeah, Lene, I will resend it. I think Katie had the invites before, and I'm realizing that I think all of them were then deleted. So I'll resend that to you.
Okay.
Oh, one other update. We're kind of slowly moving away from Eventbrite for meeting registration. So you might start getting a different app's meeting invitations to register in your emails.
Okay.
Great.
Okay,
Sounds good.
please don't forget to take our survey. Thank you.
Oh, one other thing, Movement is Medicine also had Angie Myers, your chief wellness officer. I did an hour with her and it's really good. I haven't released that yet either, so that's still kind of on my deal, but I'm excited for you guys to hear her because she's awesome.
And Dr. Myers is
Yeah,
our best.
she's awesome. And she's beat cancer 3 times, so she's pretty amazing.
Wow.
Amazing. Amazing.
And she swims every week. Like, I mean, I don't know, maybe every day. She swims all the time. So I was very inspired by her.
She
All right.
she almost single-handedly kept Children's Mercy operating during COVID. She was
Yeah.
in charge of all that. Just
Yeah.
amazing.
She was head of infectious disease.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's amazing. So anyway, it was pretty inspiring. And she's so unassuming and so humble. It's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for
Yeah.
coming. Great.